Dee, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. Okay, we here now. We live.
Great.
See me? Okay. Welcome to Open Minds. Welcome to the platform where we love to hear about near-death experiences and paranormal activity and things of that nature. And I inboxed you because of your story,
Yes.
and it sounded interesting. So I was seeing, can you share with us today about your story about your husband in the book?
Yeah, sure. So in June of last year, we were in the Grand Teton National Park, and with the main reason to see the legend Grizzly Bear 399. We have followed her, and she's like the oldest grizzly bear alive. So we were there, and the first day we spent like 7 hours tracking her and trying to find her. And finally, at 7 p.m., we were in this meadow, very serene, and she appeared with her cub. And my husband has an expensive Nikon, and he's clicking away 14 frames a minute, trying to get all the pictures he can. And all of a sudden, he falls over like a stiff board onto the asphalt road, and he's out. And there were like 200 people surrounding this meadow,
Mm-hmm.
just looking at the bear. And so immediately we got a large crowd of people together, and they started firing off. He's having a seizure, and that was said, no, he doesn't have that. Doesn't have any signs. And then there were rangers that were right there, fortunately, and they started doing CPR. One of the people standing there was running up and down the street asking if there was a doctor. And this doctor was pushed out of his car by his teenage son, said, go save that man. And he actually did. He was the one who oversaw all of the CPR and was teaching everyone what to do. And his background is in the ICU, so he was very experienced.
Mm-hmm.
Well, during that period of time, it was about an hour, my husband was out. And I'm watching all of this, so traumatized. They brought him back to life, and then he died again. This happened 3 times. And they really didn't think he was going to make it, but it finally got to where he was stabilized. So they called the helicopter. And then they had to put him in a medically induced coma so that he wouldn't move on the helicopter ride. And that's where he lost memory of the whole event until he woke up in the hospital later that night. But one thing he does remember is he was up, left his body, went to this field that was really bright white. And there was a being that appeared. He thought it was a male, but doesn't know who it was. And the being was brighter than the field. And he was given an option. He said, you can either stay on earth or you can come to heaven. It's your choice. Well, our son-in-law had just passed away 5 months before. And so we have our daughter, our only living child, and 4 grandkids. And he said he knew right away that he had to come back. And so we got to the hospital. I did the next morning. And the doctor proceeded to tell me, your husband won't live till Christmas, which would be 6 months, unless he has open heart surgery, but he won't survive the surgery. So we had a decision to make. They got so upset that I would not give them permission to do the surgery. He wanted quality of life, so they shipped us to another hospital. and that's where we got help we needed. So, and the rest of it's in my book. Can I show you a copy of it?
Sure.
So the bear on the front is $3.99, and that's from a picture that my husband took
Mm-hmm.
just before he fell to the ground, and I painted it in pastels.
So he just fell to the ground out of just nowhere.
Right?
The bear didn't have nothing to do with it.
No. And we found out what caused him to fall like that is he had plaque stored in his heart valves,
Mm-hmm.
and it caused a blood clot, and it just stopped his heart. And that's why he went down so fast.
Okay. What did the bear do?
You
Like
know,
he had just took the picture.
yeah. And so you have 200 people there, and they all have cameras, and they got the best pictures of the bears because they let a flare go up to scare the bears away. So they had been feeding on the flowers, and they looked up, and $3.99 had a smile on her face.
Mm.
And that's why it's in on the cover like that. And they thanked us and said, well, it's because of you that we got such great pictures, because she looked up. And then she did leave with her cub. They didn't want them to run towards the helicopter, which is why they did the flare.
Okay. Okay. So your story is really a good story, and it's just about like survival and staying strong and.
Right. You know, I think hope is really missing a lot. When I was standing there watching over him and he was so lifeless, and they said, well, we got him. No, we lost him. There were three women that came up to me to stay with me during this time. And the one has a husband who had 3 heart attacks and he was doing fine.
Okay.
And the other one, her dad had heart attacks and he was doing fine. So they gave me such time. And I decided after I needed to write a book to put all of my feelings and emotions down in it to help others who are going through a difficult time. And
Mm-hmm.
I've already received many people giving me feedback on how comforting it is.
That's wild. So if people want to check your book out, where can they find it at?
Yeah, thank you. It's on Amazon.com. If they type in miracles, plural, in the meadow, and there's only one, that's mine. And it's available in an ebook, paperback, or hardbound, whatever they choose.
Okay. Okay. And how can the people get in touch with you if they want to contact you about your story?
Yeah, that's great. They can send me a PM on the group, on your group,
Mm-hmm.
or I can give you my email address.
Okay.
It's reddeenow@yahoo.com. And I would love to talk to people, and especially if they're struggling with something and they have a challenge, I want to be there for them like those ladies were for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you still speak with those ladies?
Yes, we do. In fact, we met up with one of them. My husband gave him a framed picture of the bear. And the other one lives in Guam. So I haven't been able to get in touch with her. But we did have lunch with the doctor. And he said, this was at Christmas time. He goes, I just want you to know, when they put you on that plane, I really didn't think you were going to make it.
Mm.
And we were so thrilled the next morning to receive the report that you had.
Wow. Because I've seen like instances where people just show up in tragic situations like that, and then they help and they be of service, and then they just disappear, like you can't even find them no more. That's why I had asked you,
Oh,
do you
yeah.
still stay in contact with those women?
The other thing, um, The man that came on the scene, one of the paramedics to do the CPR, he was really big built and very aggressive with it. And later we were told by the doctor that my husband's the only patient they've ever had that did not get cracked or broken ribs.
Mm.
So that was a great blessing.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you for coming on and doing this. This is my first time actually doing this in the group. If any of y'all viewers would like to get on here and tell me y'all story and come live in the group with me, all you have to do is DM Open Minds and we can talk and get on here. I would love to hear y'all story too. Thank you, everybody. Go check out her book, Miracles, and D. Flurer, that's how you
Yes,
pronounce it?
right. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Nice to meet you. And if you have any other things to talk about, feel free to get in contact with me.